Hi, my name is Jonathan Jimenez, and I will be responding to the claim that LeBron James is past his prime. The speaker had three secondary claims. The first secondary claim is LeBron's current statistics are weaker than other players in the league and have been gradually decreasing. 2, LeBron is getting old. And 3, that the foundation of the team prevents LeBron from reaching his prime. In the first secondary claim, the speaker, he presented good evidence. It's from the NBA. There's not much debate on how relevant the data is, because it's stats and it's from the NBA, so I assume that it's good data. But I had a problem with that his stats were decreasing, gradually decreasing. When I looked, according to Fox Sports, the last 2 years, his field goal percentage has been higher, one of the highest that it's ever been. There's only been 2 years that his field goal percentage was higher, and that was when he was with the Miami Heat. And also his points per game was the 4th highest of his career. And as stated in his speech, he did state that his assists have improved, and they have. It's been the highest of his career. But I didn't see any gradual decrease, any significant gradual decrease. And it seems that he's been producing some of the better stats of his career. The second point, that LeBron is getting old, I didn't see any controversy here. I don't think anyone doubts that he's not getting old. I mean, we're all getting old. I do see, some relevance there. Perhaps some physical abilities, speed, lateral quickness, some things that could be affected that could have an effect on his play. But like I said before, there's not much evidence to support that. And the third claim, that the foundation of the team prevents LeBron from reaching his prime. LeBron was at Cleveland, I believe, for 7 years, and he got traded to Miami Heat. While he was at Cleveland, he had no championships, and his second year, I believe, in Miami, he won twice. With the 4 years when he was at Miami, he was twice. So the fact that team chemistry, which as stated is created by time, I don't see that supporting the main claim, because he had so much time with Cleveland, he had no championships, and the moment he goes to Miami, he has 2 out of 4 seasons, and he was in the NBA Finals for all those 4 consecutive seasons. And then he goes back to Cleveland, and his second year back at Cleveland, he has another championship. So I believe the claim that team chemistry is built with time and it prevents him from reaching his prime it's irrelevant to the claim, because it's clearly not the case. I do believe that team chemistry is important, and it increases it can help the player do better, but in this case, I don't feel like it supported the claim. Yeah, I'm not a biggest fan of basketball, but from the research that I've done, and seeing the data, I don't see LeBron I don't really think he's past his prime. His numbers are pretty much the same that they've been. There is a few small decreases, but for the most part, it seems to be the same that it's ever been. Some attributes, like I said before, is perhaps speed, strength, but I don't see any significant decrease in play that would put him past his prime. And I do believe, I think it was the first series of this current playoffs, he scored 42 points. So he still got it. So Yeah, so my claim is that LeBron James isn't past his prime, and I think that'll be it.
Right, you ID'd the claim pretty clearly, and you told us what the secondary claims were. That was fine. You don't challenge the stats, in essence, to suggest that they are not accurate. That's a wise choice on your part. That's, saying that the numbers are not the numbers would probably seem silly. I thought the better argument that you made was that there are numbers that have not been explained adequately that show consistency. That, especially, for instance, that. You had some references to his field goal percentage and, his assist numbers. And I thought that those were important points to demonstrate that, he had the fourth best season on the number of points that he scored in the current season or in the most recent season. One thing you might want to do is also give us a little bit of career retrospective. How many years has he been in the NBA? What is it, 12 now, something like that? And so if he's still hitting in the top half of his career, that doesn't seem like he's, on the downside in any noticeable way. The notion on the second point that he's getting old, well, like you said, we're all getting older. The question is, has he become less productive? And how do you measure productivity? Well, you might measure productivity by the frequency that your team appears in the playoffs, the number of wins that you have, and then your individual stats. We've already talked about the individual stats. Well, let's talk about the other kinds of aspects of productivity. Maybe his speed is not as much, but experience makes up for some of those things. He's had his team in the finals a couple of times since he's returned to Cleveland. Cleveland continues to be a dominant force in the Eastern Conference. There are a lot of ways that you can demonstrate those kinds of things, and he has an impact on that. The other thing maybe you could look at would be, I don't know, like you said, you don't follow basketball that closely. I don't follow it that closely either. How does his team perform when he is not available to play, either because he's sick or injured or had to take time off for some other reason? If the team does less well, that would be another way of measuring his importance to the team and whether or not he is making an impact on that sort of thing. The idea about getting old, well, you know what? Tom Brady's freaking old, and he still manages to be a pretty effective player in his league. The notion that LeBron James is on the outs. We don't even hear how old he is. How old is he? I remember, wasn't he one of the guys that came right out of high school? So he doesn't even have the 1 or 2 years of college that a lot of these guys take. So he's probably, what year he's in? 34. Oh, that's his age. Okay.
He's 14 years in the league.
14 years in the league, he's 34. Okay, those combination things. Well, let's, do we, in the NBA, do we have players that are playing that are older than that? How long does, what is the average age of people who play in the NBA?
Average retirement.
What's that?
Retirement. Average.
Oh yeah, retirement, that kind of thing. And you could also point to some people who have played in the league at an exceptionally high level to a higher age. I don't know what Kobe, how old was Kobe when he retired? Nobody knows. So that could be a comparison. I know that Abdul-Jabbar played till he was 40. So, the notion that people can't play and when they're older is not necessarily true. There are a lot of ways to answer those things. I thought you had good points, though, for the most part. I'm going to stop talking.